If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Meteorologist and head baseball coach of the Sylacauga Aggies, Coach Jeff Bell, joins us this morning. Coach, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Eye on the weather and kind of some tweaking of the schedule for the semifinals.
Yeah, our default start times were, Friday evening, and with the forecast as it has looked most of the week, we've tried to shuffle that around. We're going to try to get a kind of an early morning start on Friday and play baseball as long as we can, hopefully get it all in.
Yeah, it's the best 2 of 3 against Briarwood and doubleheader Friday and needed third game on Saturday or sometime during the weekend, which presents, the winner of this moves on to Montgomery in kind of a short window to get there.
Right. There's a reason that every series in all 6 classifications started either yesterday or today. I wonder why ours didn't. I've had that conversation with some people, but that's the way it goes.
Let me ask you this question. Why not today? It seemed like that would be, a better opt to get in a possible doubleheader than tomorrow or even Saturday.
My thought process was, looking at the weather, it's going to be hard to get all 3 in by Saturday evening, which means, at worst case scenario, you're going to start this series on Monday, finish it Tuesday, and one of us is going to Montgomery with no pitching on Thursday.
Yeah.
Like I said, that conversation was had, but it was decided to keep the schedule as it was on paper that's set by the state.
Yeah, a big emotional series. You're coming off last weekend against Bibb County. And in series like this, even then and now, you got to have a little luck to go along with skill.
You do. There always is. So you're going to have some good breaks here and there. Or you're going to have to overcome bad breaks. It's a little bit of both where we try to preach to our kids to just, kind of keep your nose to the grindstone and just keep playing. And it'll be the same. We had that conversation yesterday of you may sit for 2 hours and then go play 2 innings and sit for another couple hours, and it's just grind through it. Keep in the back of your mind what's at stake, and just when it is time to go out there and play, go play. And when we got to go sit and stare at it rain for 3 hours, that's what we're going to do. And I think we're pretty well equipped to handle any sort of issues that come up like that. They're a pretty tough, resilient group.
Rewinding to last weekend, doubleheader on Friday with a split and third game on Saturday, and that Saturday game was a nail biter for sure.
It was one of the most exciting games that I've been a part of. And you give a lot of credit to Bibb County. I told people all week long what they were going to get when Bibb County came, and sure enough, that's the way they were, man. They fight, and our kids fight. And both schools love to play. Both fan bases love their school. It was a rowdy place for 3 games, and no doubt Saturday was.
You look at the video there, and there's a huge crowd on hand, both Friday and Saturday, and you win that third game late, and hey, you get it any way you can.
That's right. The 7th inning epitomizes our team. It was basically one guy doing his part for his team, and then the next guy kind of picking up where he left off. We had the leadoff hit, bunt him over. So, it's what they've done all year long, where they just don't quit. They just find ways to win.
Big hit in the 7th inning, gets the winning runs home, and man, it is just total excitement for the Aggies and total disappointment for a good Bibb County team.
Right, yeah, and I've been on that end of it too, and it hurts. And I told a couple of their players, like I said, for my time in Tuscaloosa, I've coached against those kids since they were in 8th grade. Like they were on varsity in 8th grade, so I've seen those kids grow up. And I told them that what kind of stings during a loss like this, once that sort of goes away, they're going to reflect on that game and that series, and they're going to know how much fun they had.
Walk us through, Coach Jeff Bell is our guest this morning, head coach of the Sylacauga Baseball Aggies. Are in the semifinals on Friday morning at 11 o'clock and against Briarwood. Walk us through the emotions of that 7th inning where the Aggies come from behind to win that thing.
It's hard to summarize that. The game, first of all, early on in the game, the emotions, you'd get high and low, and you'd take a lead, and then they would fight back, and then we would fight back to take the lead again. During the inning itself, I guess just because trying to think your way through it, I don't remember much about it until the run scored. Now the emotions at that point were, it's a lot of pride that you get 20 kids that just kind of pull together like that. I think there's a lot of behind the scenes things that happened during that game, right around the 5th inning, and people that know what I'm talking about, that we had to overcome. And I'll put it like this: they fight like brothers, but they're a tight-knit group, and to see their emotions sort of spill over after that game ended was a pretty proud moment.
Yeah, and you see a lot of high school games, but you could feel the tenseness and emotions in the crowd even before the game started.
Well, and I think it goes back to the love that the two communities have for their athletics.
Yeah.
They want their teams to win. They think their teams are the best, and I think both communities like to tell each other about it too.
You've talked about on this show numerous times the importance of a deep pitching staff. Pitching was key in that 3rd game especially.
It was. I think what gets lost in the whole thing is the effort Cole Porch gave us. He stands out there and almost tunes out to the rest of the world and just stands out there and executes pitch after pitch in the biggest game of his life to that point, and pitched really well and overcame really not a good defensively played game from us, and he never flinched. And I've been asked several times, that, like most weeks, what's the pitching rotation? I don't know yet.
Who knows?
I've got 5 or 6 guys that I have a lot of trust in.
And this time of the season, all hands on deck.
It is, and it'll be who's ever numbers called. We'll have a ton of faith in them, and they'll be prepared. I think they'll have as much confidence as we'll have in them, and it is at this point. It's whoever gets called upon is going to be expected to go out and do what they do, and I think they will.
Before we move on to Briarwood, I've been covering baseball and watching baseball for a lot of years, and that Aggie crowd, they were into it the entire series, and that makes a difference for a ball club.
Speaking as an old player, the bigger the crowd and the louder the crowd, it's easier to stay focused in the game. That's what makes it fun. And there were times where I would look up during the game, and especially on Friday night, when you look, you have to scan the whole field, and when the crowd spills over down both foul lines, and there were more people or as many people behind the bleachers into the courtyard area as there were in the bleachers up to the backstop net. There were people everywhere, and you could hear them. Now, it was loud for sure.
Hey, you're fortunate that Briarwood played a third game on Monday. You got to scout them. What do you see?
I see a typical Briarwood team. A team that's going to be really sound on defense. A team that's going to have a lot of good pitching, and a group that has good hitters, but they have really tough hitters. They have really tough outs, especially at the very top and the very bottom of their lineup. They're going to be pretty feisty outs.
Down through the last number of years, Sylacauga has played Briarwood. Any crossing of paths in 2019?
No, sir. And
any teams that maybe?
No, there are people that I speak to that have seen them. Like I said, we've seen them ourselves. As far as us versus them on the field this year, we haven't done that. We will when we're forced to, but I have a personal philosophy about that I'll keep to myself.
Yeah.
But we've seen them. We've got a good idea what we're getting.
Semifinals slated for first pitch Friday morning at 11 o'clock, Walton Cruz Field, and just a step away from every team's dream to begin the spring.
Yeah, and I don't not tell them that. I have no problem telling them. And that's exactly how I said it. You're 2 wins away from everything you worked for your whole life. And because there's going to be pressure this weekend. It's going to be intense again. And I'm not going to tell them, hey, guys, just another game. Just go play the game. That's pretty naive of me to think that they're not going to feel that and they know what's ahead of them. So I think it's good to remind them of that. Yeah. Not that they need to be reminded of it.
You think, Jeff, that playing even in the tournament to date, playing some of those tough, close, tight games that go down to the final at bat or final inning, you think that's something that is conducive to helping your team continue?
Absolutely. That's the one great takeaway from last weekend, that group will believe they can win. Regardless of the opponent, regardless of the score. They know that if they play for 21 outs, it's the best thing about baseball. There's no clock. Time's not going to run out. You're going to get your chance. So if you continue to fight, that group's going to get it done most times.
Just from outside looking in, I know there are plans in place for if this happens or that happens, but all eyes are on the weather, and that is going to play a real big part in how this semifinal matchup lays out.
No doubt. You're right. We know it's coming. We know it's going to be a factor. I think my greatest responsibility this weekend is to try to manage pitchers around the weather. It's not going to be where I can go give Tyler Thompson the ball and he's going to keep it for 2 hours and then game's over. He may, there may be a 30-minute break in the weather.
How can that affect a pitcher?
If they sit too long, I think it can affect them. Me personally, I could throw and take a break and go throw again. But
you're old.
Well, and now, there's too much of a responsibility to keep their health in the back of your mind. I'm not gonna do that to somebody that's got a college career in front of him. We're gonna take care of them, and and that's. I'll be prepared for that. It's going to take a lot of thought and probably a notebook full of paper and notes and things like that. But we'll have a plan.
I know in football, and there's pretty good chances of thunderstorms in the area. And in football, a lightning strike means X amount of minutes before you can play. Is that the same way in baseball?
It's the same. Yeah, every time, and I don't know exactly what the radius is, a couple miles or whatever it is, 8 maybe. With every lightning strike, it delays the start time 30 minutes.
Okay.
So we could be in a weather delay for 29 minutes, and if there's a lightning strike, it's 30 more added to it. So we've prepared the kids to, be ready for a long day, and there may be a lot of downtime, and just when we do get out there, find the energy, and when it's time to sit, relax, get off your feet, and basically survive.
This team has responded well to adversity, and you've talked about practices after a win. This team is laid back. What you see in practice may not be exactly what happens on Saturday.
Yeah, well, their personality doesn't exactly fit mine as far as the way they go about their business. Yeah. I've over the years thought if they're laughing and joking around, they're not ready to play, and that couldn't be the farthest from the truth. They're just a loose group. And I know when they walk between the lines or when you flip the lights on, they're ready. And to try to force them to be quiet, walk in a straight line, and stay focused, they don't operate like that. They like to have fun, and they don't lose sight of, what responsibilities they've had.
You've coached a long time. Is this as good a team as you've had?
Yep, okay. Bar none. And it's not only are they talented, they're the best team. They are a team. It's a brotherhood, and they fight for each other, man. So yeah. It is.
All right. First pitch schedule for 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. The Briarwood Lions from over in Shelby County. Best 2 of 3 against the Sylacauga Aggies, Walton Cruz Field. Be there. Doubleheader schedule for Friday. Third game necessary on Saturday. We'll keep you updated on the weather. And, Coach, good luck to the Aggies. And let's head to Montgomery.
Thank you.
All right. Coach Jeff Bell, the head baseball coach of the Sylacauga Aggies for a few minutes this morning. More Daybreak after this.